Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Bell Howard Show. Welcome. I should say it's the Bell Howard by Don Show. I got my name changed. I got married again. But just for this country and for my visa status. I wanted to keep my visa status, and so I changed my name a little bit. So I met a wonderful woman. Her name is Zarian by Don, and part of her prerequisite or her condition that we get married was I take her last name. And I was a little hesitant at first because it's by Don and it sounds a little bit like Biden. And I'm not a big fan of the United States president or the current puppet president, as it were. But, you got to do what you got to do. And it's lovely. I mean, I'm having a good time. We had a really strange wedding. We rode horses. As you do here, horses are a part of life. They people here, they love horses. They live with horses. They have horse cafes. I know other countries have cat cafes or pet cafes. Here you have horse cafes. So life is starting over. I've got a new bride, and I've got a new show. And this is, it's my old show. I'm just continuing doing what I do. But we're going to have some changes to it, and we're going to add some new music and stuff. And now I've got a semi-pro professional setup here. So I'm not just doing it from my phone anymore. I'm going to get callers. I've got one today. It's really exciting. He's going to talk about super weapons, Russian super weapons. So stay tuned for that. And history marches on. I mean, what can I say? History marches on. Times are changing, and therefore the History Channel is still in business. I don't know. Look, we also have a sponsor today. In fact, talking about the History Channel, there's a new channel called Vector TV, and they've got a great new show. It's called The Real Gurus of California. And this examines yogis and gurus and people, the self-help industry, those kind of guys, and what they do, and it kind of goes behind the scenes and looks at what they do. And it goes into kind of where I'm from in Northern California and Southern California too. But listen, California is the capital of cults. We've got the best ones and the most extravagant, I mean, they have this thing here in Azerbaijan. It's kind of like an Azerbaijani burrito, and it's just wreaking havoc on me. And I don't know, I started feeling this way today. In fact, when I was talking to my guest earlier, I suddenly got this kind of, I'm fine now, but, without getting too graphic, I went to the restroom several times. Anyway, The Real Gurus of California. This is a great show, and they're sponsoring us. And let me just play you a clip of that. If I direct all the energy from the universe, I can materialize anything I want. And right now, I'm going to materialize a Rolex watch. Look into my hand. Oh, wow. Wow, that looks exactly like my watch. So there you have it. There's the Real Gurus of California. It's going to be a great show, and check that out. It's on Vector TV. It's online on every streaming device you have. And so let's get into it, folks. This is an interesting guest. We're going to talk about super weapons, directed energy weapons, which are just frightening. There's so many frightening new technologies coming out. And the Russians have some of the scariest, of course. It's like a Bond villain, that level of sinister technology. So we're going to talk to a weapons expert today. And let's go to that interview right now with Ray Lazerwolf. Ray Lazerwolf, thank you for coming on the Bell Howard Show. You're a consultant. Why don't you give us a little bit of background on yourself before we start here?
My name is Ray Lazerwolf. I'm a weapons expert, and I come from a long line of people working in the intelligence community. Except my father, he was just a real estate agent in Oxnard, California. My grandpa's grandpa, it all goes back. Even in England, they were spies for the Queen, and and then they came out to America. They were trackers, Navajo trackers on my mom's side. And so I've got tracker blood, I've got spy blood, and pirate blood. So I got into the Navy, I got into naval intelligence. That was in the 80s. So this was at the height of the, not the height of the Cold War, but like kind of towards the end. I was in Helsinki, just tracking people, finding out about these weapons. My specialty was languages. I could speak 5 languages.
Really? So
yeah,
what's
but
it?
then they took me off the case. I scored high on the test, but speaking wise, they took me off most of those cases because of my accent.
And for the kids at home, I mean, I got to ask this: what's it like being a spy?
It's a lot like going to a sleepover party, and the first person to fall asleep is the one that gets his hand dunked in a cup of warm water. And then so if you're the one, you wake up and you're the only one with a wet sleeping bag, you're out of the game. That's kind of what it is. That's kind of what it's like being a spy.
Okay, so a good place to start, I think, is the Havana Syndrome. What is the Havana Syndrome?
Okay, so the Havana Syndrome is when people working overseas in these embassies, they suddenly developed these symptoms where they couldn't function. One day they're healthy, the next day they're doubled over. They got diarrhea, they got vomiting. They can't think. They got seizures, etc. And nobody knew why. Everyone thought, oh, they got food poisoning, but this was more than food poisoning. What they found out later was the Russians and Chinese, they developed these technologies called DEWs. Those are called directed energy weapons.
Yeah.
And what they do is they direct microwaves into the body, and they basically cook your insides like a leftover burrito from last night's Mexican restaurant.
So they were talking about this like it was a natural, like it was just a sickness, but you're saying it was a real directed weapon.
Actually, it was an enchilada, but
it was a super weapon.
Yeah, so they found out that a lot of these agents got it. A lot of these people working in all kinds of countries. And Russians were doing it. Chinese were doing it. Mostly the Russians, though. They came up with it.
It's in the. When did you first come across this?
I experienced it myself. I was in Helsinki tracking this guy, and suddenly I just felt like I ate like a 2-week-old, pierogi, and they hit me with it pretty hard.
And what was that like?
I felt like a friggin' train was trying to escape my colon.
It sounds like a giant prank is being pulled on us, right? I mean,
in the old days, they find you, they somehow they drug you, they put you to sleep, and then they chop you into bits and put you in little plastic bags and send them to your family, or they put you in a drum filled with acid and let you dissolve. Now it's just kind of like, now they want to just give as many people, many agents as possible, they want to give them diarrhea and memory loss.
How can you or we defend ourselves against this kind of threat?
For the average citizen, you can't do anything. Usually when you want to avoid dangerous electromagnetic fields, what you do is you wear a tin hat and a tin foil jacket, and all those are available for sale on my website. And you wear those, but in this case, you're dealing with microwaves, and if you wear those things, what it's like. You will cook yourself. It's like you're putting yourself in a microwave oven. So don't do that. And so what really has to happen if you really want to defend yourself is we all got to get together on this. We all got to be on the same page, and this has to be the number one priority. The Russians are.
They can make this super weapon. And by the way, we can't, right? So do the Russians just have us by the short and curlies? It's game over, right?
They're in space right now building a super microwave gun. Yeah, so it's up there, but here's the thing. They spend all this money on it. They don't spend money on their own people. They spend money on their technology, and they get their stuff up there. And it's like, and it's got a reflective sort of surface on it, and it's reflecting the stars. So if you look up there, you're not going to see it at all. It just looks like, it's just a bunch of stairs. So they're just aiming this satellite anywhere. And that's why Joe Biden in his talks, he always goes quiet a second. He just stops talking, and he kind of looks around. That's why, because those energies are getting through to it. And it affects the elderly more than young people. For the young people, it gives them diarrhea. But for the elderly people like Biden, it just gives them brain farts.
So where is this weapon? And why can't we shoot it down or dismantle it?
Because up in space, Bill, can't find these. If you want to dismantle them, you got to go to Russia, or I don't know, they got stuff in the North Pole, they got it in the South Pole. We're dealing with bipolar Russians here. So what are you going to do?
You always hear, the U.S. has the best military, we have all the tech and the special ops, and, but we're getting hacked every day. People are slowly microwaving us, and we can't seem to do anything about it. So what do you think about that, and why are hold on, there's a ringing in my ear. There's this sharp, what is that?
Let me ask you something. I mean, are you currently under a lot of stress?
No.
Are you a recovering alcoholic?
No.
Okay. Are you currently in a custody battle for a child from a messy divorce?
Don't have kids.
All right. Okay. So it's definitely not that. They've aimed it at you. You're a target for some reason. I don't know why. I think your show has a listenership of 17 people, but some reason they're targeting you, Bell. And you're some stuff's going to start moving soon in your bowels, and you're going to take...
What?
You're going to take a huge crap soon. So you want to get to a toilet.
Okay.
Get out of there as fast as possible. I mean, for your sake and people you live with.
Yeah, I better. Thanks, Ray. Lazerwolf, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, Ray.
All right. Thanks, Bill.
Okay,
Good
take care.
To you.
Bye now. All right, folks, so that was my interview. It really got weird at the end there. I think, I'm not going to say it was for certain, but I felt something really disruptive there for a second, and you're doing this radio broadcast, podcast, whatever it is, and suddenly something like that hits you. It's scary. But it probably was the plov I ate. It's this Azerbaijani dish. It's saffron rice, and it's got 7 aromatic herbs that are delicious usually, but it was plov that I found in the back of the refrigerator, and it was old plov. So don't eat old plov, especially my wife's cousin's plov, which goes bad quicker than normal plov, apparently, according to my wife. And I said, well, honey, why don't we just throw it out? It was kind of our first big fight, and it was about plov, Plov. Well, folks, that's our show for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back next time with more strangeness. And this world is just getting crazier and stranger by the minute. That's why you should always stay safe, stay sane, and stay free. Bye now.